Hey, it's Tonika Bruce, also known as Coach Bruce or the Network Nurse. I'm a registered nurse, an author, a leader, a doctoral student, a wife, and a parent. Join me on this journey to discuss nurse X's and O's from nursing to networking. With my experiences, failures, and lessons learned in leadership, business, and sports, my hope is to positively impact your life by challenging you to chase after your goals with relentless pursuit. Let's aim to achieve success beyond your wildest dreams. Hi, and welcome to our podcast. In this episode, we're going to discuss what it takes to be an awesome nurse. We're going to look at the qualities that you need to possess in order to succeed in our nursing profession. Beyond just knowing our responsibilities, I think it's important that we embody these key traits whenever we put on our scrubs or whatever our nursing attire is and perform our duties. First off, and I believe the foundation of it all, a nurse has to be empathetic. Simply defined, empathy is the ability to feel what another person is experiencing from their point of view. And caring for others is just part of the oath as a nurse. So it's important that we know how to feel for our patients. We should know how to put ourselves in the patient's shoes. And as nurses, we have to understand that we deal with people who are vulnerable, who need care, and oftentimes the mere medical attention is just not enough. So there's some out there that may be experiencing trauma from maybe the injury they got, or someone's down and lonely because of the illness that they're battling. Or maybe a child is so scared of the operation that they need to undergo. So emotional and mental stress is something that's attached to the medical needs of most patients. So as nurses, we have to be on our feet in understanding that aspect of care. As Jodi Picoult said, the doctors may be mapping out the war games, but it's nurses who make the conflict bearable. Now, not everyone is born with this robust capacity to be empathetic towards others. So this is important that it's just embedded into the ABCs of nursing. Secondly, I think it's important that a nurse has good communication skills. Nurses aren't just medical professionals that administer medication or assist patients, but one of the key things that we do is we are the people that are the go-between between patients, doctors, and family members. So we're that liaison between those people. What that means is we can collect and relay critical information for patients. So imagine the possible consequences if there's an error in that transcription of maybe medical orders, or if there's something missing on hospital discharge paperwork and life-threatening allergies that aren't listed in a patient's charts. I mean, the stakes can be devastating. So as nurses, we need to be comfortable reading, also writing, and presenting information to others verbally. And aside from the technical aspect of it, communication is a therapeutic tool that healthcare providers use to build interpersonal relationships with their patients or with their coworkers. When you look at it, effective verbal and nonverbal communication, those techniques help patients feel more relaxed and also more open to share their concerns. So depending on the nature of that concern, some patients, they may feel embarrassed. They might not want to share information because they really don't know if they should. And that can be a big key in unlocking whatever it is their medical needs are. So it's important that nurses make them feel secure and make them feel comfortable, and also let them know that they can be trusted. Next, it's a must that a nurse has to be flexible and versatile. And I know a lot of nurses that are listening right now will 100% agree with me that there's no average day for us. And it doesn't matter if you're working on the floor, it doesn't matter if you're working in administration or education. every day we encounter different scenarios. We have different challenges, and they all need different approaches. I guess the thought of learning new skills and consistently doing different things is a large part of the appeal that nursing as a career has. And a day of a nurse can really change from quiet, it can be planned care for neonates, or it can be high intense situations. Like, imagine seeing 4 women simultaneously arriving in labor. How crazy would that be, right? And nurses always should be on their feet, ready to take on anything that may come through those doors each and every day. Then the fourth quality that makes a nurse awesome is being a critical thinker. The ability to think critically is such an important trait because while nurses most often function as a part of a healthcare team, our practice is autonomous and our professional decisions are our sole responsibility. I mean, every action that we do is so important. So we have to maintain a sound and rational mind when we're dealing with patient care, because critical thinking, it's a disciplined thing. It's a self-directed, this way of looking at things that allow nurses to interpret data, also prioritize patient needs, and also troubleshoot any kind of critical clinical issues. And you have to do that and be ready to do it quickly and accurately. For example, let's say during triage, it's how a nurse interprets normal diagnostic results. That determines how a patient that might be having chest pain, can they wait because maybe they're likely having indigestion. Maybe they're not having a heart attack. So see the difference there? So being able to make excellent judgment and decisions in serious conditions, and maybe even stressful conditions for some in situations, it should be second nature for nurses. Now, the last quality that I believe is truly important for a nurse to possess is the ability of self-care. This is very hard for nurses. And if you've listened to our past episodes, you probably know by now how demanding and laborious a day a nurse can have. So it's important that we know how to take care of ourselves, and we need to know how to avoid burnout and fatigue because it happens very often. So we're always subject to situations that might inflict physical and emotional stress. I mean, think about it. We have long shifts, busy days, we deal with illnesses, and we cope with deaths. So it can be difficult to maintain sanity, especially when dealing with very intense cases. And what happens if you have difficult coworkers, especially a manager or any kind of situation like that? But we have to be able to keep our promise. We need to take care of our patients. That's what we just signed up for. That's the oath that we took. So setting clear professional boundaries, and also take advantage of your well-deserved time off, and don't feel guilty. There are going to be situations where you're always asked to work extra. Don't feel like you're going to drive by the hospital and like, oh my gosh, what if they need me? You have to keep your promise. Take care of patients, but also take care of yourself. Don't feel guilty that maybe other people might be having a difficult time that day. That's noble, but understand that work-life balance is very important. So you have to really prioritize that in order to keep away from unnecessary strain. Now, it's in nurses' hands to help define someone's medical experience. So it's important to have these 5 qualities that I believe are the essence of becoming an awesome nurse. Thanks for joining today, guys. Hopefully you guys liked today's episode. My goal is to be of help to you in making even the slightest change in your life through this podcast. And if that happens, then that's achievement enough for me. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Make sure you don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. That's very important. And also connect with me on my social media pages. And if you want to know more about me, please visit tonikabruce.com. Now, there's always 3 things that you need to do in between now and the next episode. 1, don't forget to share it with your friends and family. 2, know when the next episode will be. And number 3, win your day.